Welcome to Living the Way, hosted by Pastor Charlie and Dr. Melanie Jimmerson. Step back and join us as we take a closer look at how the Bible really can and does apply to our lives today. We really do value your feedback, so write a comment and don't forget to share so your friends will be blessed as well.
Welcome back. Before Christianity was a religion, it was known as the way. That's why we call this living the way. It was a way of living.
Yeah.
So it's a way of believing, it's a way of following Jesus. So that's what we need to do. That's what we want to do here. This program is intended to talk about how we can actually live the way, different ways. And we do that with all kinds of subjects. Today our subject is...
Well, 4th of July.
Yeah, the United States of America.
All right.
If that wasn't a good salute to you, you weren't in the Navy. Because the Navy, I was taught to go to the temple. I think some of the other forces go over one of the eyes, but I was supposed to go to the temple. So
Looked pretty snappy to me.
that's right,
Yeah.
and it had to be a snap. So, well, Melanie, we're going to be talking about our country.
I am so excited because, well, I love our country. Y'all
Yeah.
know that from previous shows, but today we're going to talk about why we were considered to be founded on Christian
Yes.
principles.
And, I have a question here because it's a question I've been asked many times by many people. Is America a Christian nation? Now, this may shock a lot of Christians. The answer is no. We're not a Christian nation, because if we were, we would be a theocracy. And we're not a theocracy.
No, I'm so glad you said that, because
Yeah.
to be a theocracy would be very narrow.
Yes, and that's what Sharia law will do to this
That's right.
nation, is make it a theocracy.
That's
But
right.
it'll be a theocracy under Allah, not under God. But we were founded on Christian principles. That's the point. We need to get back to those principles.
Well, first of all, we need to educate those principles.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And
absolutely.
we need to point people to the Christian principles that are set forth in the Constitution.
Yeah.
And so many people have never even looked at
The
a copy.
Constitution.
Yes, a copy of the Constitution. I used to teach it, so I'm.
It's the 250th birthday. So I guarantee you, you'll be able to find a copy of the Constitution somewhere. Somebody will give you a copy of the Constitution. So let's look at it. And by the way, we are not a theocracy, but we're not a democracy either.
Don't let somebody tell.
Well,
Excuse me, but I can get on a soapbox about
me too.
that.
You'll have to knock me off that box.
Yeah.
Because we are not a democracy. Let me tell you what a democracy is. It's 51% rule, no matter what.
Yeah.
They rule. Whatever
doesn't
they
work.
say goes. That's not what we are. We're a constitutional republic. That means 51% of the people have the right to say, if it doesn't go against our founding documents.
Yeah.
We have to stay within our Constitution that we were founded on. That's the difference between a constitutional republic and a democracy. We're not just a democracy.
So let me teach you a hard word.
All right?
Sesquicentennial.
Uh-huh.
That's the 250th.
Oh,
And
okay.
so that's Latin for, the sesqua is the 200, quin is the 50, and
Okay.
centennial, of course, is 100.
Uh-huh.
So,
Well, I didn't hear the 50 in there, and I was going like, well, I thought that was the 200, because I was alive during the 200. I remember that. Now, that's as far back as I go,
Yeah.
okay, as far as the major ones. I wasn't here for the 75th one, but I was, or 175, but I was here for 200.
Right.
And now I'm here for 250.
yeah, I remember the 200, I was still in school, and we all stumbled over the word Centennial. And
yeah.
now it's the Sesquicentennial.
Yeah. And you do that a whole lot better.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah, so I was shocked. I'm going like, yeah, I didn't practice that, so I'm not going to try.
You have to. You almost have to.
You have to practice it to say it. But the values that influenced our Declaration of Independence, our Constitution, and many of our early laws, they were all deeply connected to the teaching of Scripture out of the Bible. Not just moral things, the Bible. So America is a nation that is built on the idea that rights come from God.
Yes, yes. And if there were no rights from God, we wouldn't have, there would be no life at all. People would kill each other to the point that there wouldn't even be one man standing.
That's right.
That's what that's really about.
Well, unfortunately, man is inherently evil.
Yeah.
And so if we leave it to man or our Constitution, our Constitution doesn't actually give us rights. Our Constitution acknowledges God-given rights.
That's there you go. That's what I wanted you to say. God-given. Remember, they're always God-given. Yeah. So.
And in fact, I think a lot of people can quote this. We did have a president that just recently that could not quote this whole thing, but we won't go there. It says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. That is one of the most quoted quotes from the Constitution.
And so that kind of puts down the whole question about whether we are created or whether we are
That's right,
evolved.
because it says by our Creator.
Doesn't say by our great evolver, does
That's
it?
right. Nope, it doesn't. It says our
By
Creator.
the Creator.
And a tidbit that, for generations within this country, the most widely read book, the Bible.
Still.
And it still is.
Yeah.
That's right. It still is
Still
the
is.
most widely read book. And honestly, the Bible is not a book, it's 66 books.
Yeah.
But we consider it one because we call it the Bible. But in other, like the Catholic Church, they've got more than 66 books. They've got some history books that's in there. A lot of people don't understand that, what the extra books are. But they're...
The Apocrypha.
They're actually history books.
Yeah, they are.
Like the Maccabees and things like that.
And that's true. And that is, the point of it is, it kind of takes in the stories that happened during the time between Malachi and Matthew.
Yes,
and so,
right.
So that's why they have those in there.
Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that the Bible was used as a textbook in our schools.
It sure was. It really was.
For years, the Bible was used as a textbook. In fact, it was the main reader, and why we would teach people the King's English, I don't know. But
back then, they could handle it a little better.
It was more well-known.
I think they could handle it a little better.
I speak Catonics. If you don't know what that is, that's Kentuckian.
Catonics.
It's not Ebonics, but it's Catonics.
Okay.
Kentuckian,
Okay.
So that's what I do.
Yeah.
But a little tidbit, in 1994, we took a trip with my family in 94.
Okay.
And we went back. I spent my 9th grade year in Middletown, Ohio. My mom and dad had separated for a time, and my mom went to Middletown because that's where her parents were.
Oh,
and and I was one of the children that went with her, and I just happened to be in the 9th grade that time. Well, we went back, and I was showing the kids some of that, like the house that we, were in and different things. And we went by that 9th grade campus. Now, that 9th grade campus, it was the year that I was there, was the first year it was a 9th grade campus.
Okay.
And it was actually from 4 different rivalry
Oh, no. Oh, goodness.
Yes.
Can only imagine.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Glad I didn't teach
Yeah,
there.
it wasn't a real peaceful time in that school. There was fights all the time.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I went back and I'm showing them that school, okay? So it used to be a high school, but now, and it was 4 stories. It was a 5, because the band room was on the 5th floor.
Okay.
But here we are, we're up there, and I take them up there, we walk up to the main doors going in, and I'm looking at them, and I'm going like,
Well,
I was shocked. All over the facade of that, it's stone,
Yeah.
because it was stone facing, okay, was carved scriptures.
right.
I mean, direct quotes out of it was scriptures, and it even identified what scripture it was. And I'm going like, I never knew that. And I'm going like, but that's in 1994. Now, granted, that school was probably at that time probably 50 years old, but
They've probably torn that down by now.
yeah, it may be tore down, but or either
Chiseled off.
I
Yeah.
don't know, but maybe
Oh,
I'll go
not.
back and look one time.
the word
but that tells us how far we've come, because there was a time where kind of they were trying to ban the Bible from the school, and it was a reader. It was part of our
curriculum.
curriculum.
Yeah.
And now in Texas, it can be again.
Yeah.
In fact, schools get a credit. They get a little more money if they do.
Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, I
They're
love that.
trying to give it an incentive to get the Bible back in there.
Wow.
But things like George Washington spoke many times about the importance, and guys, I was not and guys, I'm talking about me, okay? Now, I am 69, getting ready to be 70, okay? But I was not taught real American history. Me, okay? Because when I took my children out of school and started homeschooling them, I wanted to teach them real history.
Right.
And so I started to research history myself. There's a story about George Washington that I never knew. When he was with the English army,
Okay.
because he was with them
Yes.
at one time,
Yeah.
they were fighting the Indians. Okay, They were in this battle when the England won that battle against the Indians. They made the Indians sign a treaty, but they refused to sign it unless that one person that was up on a horse, if he wasn't here, they wouldn't sign it, but they
Wow.
would sign it with him. That one person happened to be George Washington. Now, the reason they did him is because the Indians had a plan. They
Okay.
were going to defeat the Redcoats. The way they was going to defeat the Redcoats, those guys up on the horses, they were the leaders. So if we take out the leaders, the troops will scatter, which is a good theory.
Well, yeah. Well,
The problem is they couldn't get rid of one. One of those leaders wouldn't fall. Now, George Washington wrote a letter to either his wife or his mom, I think it was his mom,
Yeah.
wrote a letter to her about that battle. And he said, basically, and this is not a direct quote, but he said that the hand of God had been upon him.
That's right.
Because when he got back and he took off his coat, lead fell out.
Right. Right.
That coat had holes in it where they were firing at him, but it never penetrated him.
Yeah.
Now, guys, at the crossing of the Delaware, another miracle. That is covered up. What happened was that we were defeated. We were all but defeated. They were coming in. We were trapped. There was no way out. So what happened was a mysterious fog came in.
Mysterious.
Yeah, mysterious
We've seen the
fog.
fog
And it
in the-
stopped everything. So now George Washington said, hey, let's get some boats and let's cross the Delaware to where we can go over there and we can come around and get behind them. And that fog stayed there long enough for them to all get across the Delaware, to go all the way around, get behind them, and all of a sudden the fog lifted. They're there going like, where'd they go?
Yeah.
Well, they were getting killed from behind because
Yeah.
we were behind them.
Right.
and they surrendered.
And I knew that story.
Yeah.
And I thought, immediately I thought about that fog could have been one like we see in Exodus,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Could have been the Spirit of God.
Yes, because it talks about a pillar of fire.
Yeah.
Now, I would have loved it to have been a pillar of fire. I think that would have been more
but-
dramatic. But, hey, that miracles are God's business, not mine.
Yeah.
Okay? He
But-
gets to choose which one he uses. But he used a fog. Wow. Now, it's something else I want to bring out because people talk about our founding fathers, and now they're trying to downplay their Christianity. Well, some were deists, and some were this, and some were that. Guys, they
That's
weren't
just
all the
not-
same,
That's not true.
but they all professed Jesus Christ
They were all
as their personal Lord and Savior.
Yeah.
Every last one. Now, the one that was thought to be the least religious.
Oh, yeah, I know who that was.
Okay.
Ben Franklin.
Ben Franklin.
Yeah.
He was thought to be the least religious, okay? When they come in to do the Constitution, the Constitutional Convention, they were at odds with each other.
Right.
They couldn't get anything done. I mean, it was horrible. And Benjamin Franklin stood up, was recognized, and he said, basically, and again, I'm paraphrasing, this is my version of it, okay? But he said, we have done everything for this country. The Declaration of Independence, everything has been bathed in prayer, and we haven't prayed.
Yeah.
They stopped that convention for 3 days and prayed solidly for 3 days. And then when they resumed, they prayed in the morning. And it wasn't one of these, okay, Lord bless us. All right, let's get
No.
to work. No.
It was hours.
Yes.
It was for
they
hours.
prayed.
They were on their knees
Yes.
for hours.
And
I'd like to see that again.
yes. Oh,
I really would. I'd
man,
love to see that
wouldn't
again.
it be something
It would.
that if Congress convened and all of a sudden somebody stood up and was recognized and said, we need to pray, and everybody come forward and got down on their knees and
Man,
started praying.
I get for glimpse just thinking about it.
Yes.
How good that would be. So, continue, because
Okay.
that's a good story.
Yeah.
And we want to make sure we
Now,
get the
there
rest of
were
it.
at least 13 states, okay, that had, now, this is
This-
at the
states.
convention. That's right.
Not colonies.
Not colonies.
States,
These
okay.
are now states. Well, one was a commonwealth, but we're calling it a state right now. There
Okay.
was at least 13 that had the constitutional, within their own state, constitutional or statutory religious test requiring, if you had held an office in that state, you had to pass that test. And one of the main points was you had to profess Jesus Christ as your personal Savior.
Now, can you only imagine if we had that kind of, first of all, if we had that kind of commitment, and
Yes.
if we had that kind of requirement. One of the things I like to talk about is that we could sure use a lot more accountability from
Absolutely.
from our congressmen and women. Accountability is what keeps everybody on the same page.
That's right.
And I call for it every time I get an opportunity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, let me give you these states, okay? Are you ready for this? Delaware, Georgia.
But, okay, Delaware, isn't that where President Biden was from? Yeah, I see.
Delaware, Georgia, Maryland, Massachusetts,
Yeah.
New
another
Hampshire,
one.
New Jersey,
Yeah,
North Carolina, South Carolina,
okay.
Vermont.
No.
Yeah,
No.
Vermont.
No. How could that be?
I don't know how, but Vermont had that in their state statutes.
They wouldn't even be a member of the United States if they had their way right now.
You're right. You're right.
They wouldn't. They have
And
complete.
the last few are Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Mississippi, and Connecticut. Now, when the Constitution was written in 1787, that was the states that had that in their state laws.
in the state laws. So
Right.
this is after the 1776.
Right.
So we have to know that they went forward
Yes,
with their work, and they worked their work.
right.
And
Well, now, you know, Thomas, is it Paine, that wrote, that he's quoted saying, the separation of church and state?
Oh, yes,
Okay,
that's
well, now,
right.
guys, that was a letter that was written to him, and he wrote back.
Yeah, that was
And what
not
it was about a state issue, actually, and it was talking about, you know, but he did not use that phrase, the separation of church and state. He said that, he basically quoted what the Constitution says, the state shall not rule against the church. Okay?
So-
That's a one-way street. It's
Yeah.
not a two-way street. Now, the church doesn't control our government. The church doesn't. Now, the church, I'm talking about the church as a whole. But the Christians do. I mean, because we are patriots. That's who
right.
we are.
yes,
You know, so it's up to us to vote. And if we vote right, maybe we'll get better people in there.
let's get better people to run first.
Yeah, well, but we.
That's what grassroots does.
Yeah, that's
we
right.
find the people that we think would make a better person for that job, and so grassroots is exalted in that way only.
Right. But guys, our Constitution matters.
Yeah.
And, you know, there is something that I wish we could do that I'm glad we don't do.
What?
Have another constitutional convention.
Oh, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, and the reason I say I wish we could, not would, I wish we could, because we need term limits in Congress.
Please.
Whether it be the Senate or Congress, I mean, we need term. They voted term limits for the president, but not themselves. I mean, we have people that's been in there over 50 years. 50 years.
But a constitutional convention would give the Democrats the opportunity to change the entire.
Yes.
They would go through.
Especially all liberals.
Yeah.
Whether they're communist, whether they're democratic.
Yeah, I should have included everybody.
Yeah, I mean, but they would come together.
Yes, they would.
They would come together because they want to change us.
They want the.
From being a constitutional republic.
Right.
Because they want
There
to
you go.
change the Constitution. That's why I said I'm glad we don't.
Yeah.
But we need to get, I would like to, I may get arrested here. I'd almost feel like I could pay an elected official to make that motion on the floor.
Well.
And then see how many people vote against it.
Oh, it's
and then
gonna
put their names out there, and that way we would know who's against that, and we could vote them out of office.
We would hope to be able to do
Yeah.
that. But, you know, the way that it looks right now, that everybody is just rocking along with, this is how it's always been.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And you think about how long ago it was that we enacted the 25th Amendment, which limits the presidency.
Right.
That was, I believe that happened in,
Well, that happened because
in the
of
50s,
Roosevelt.
maybe it was in the Truman,
Yeah.
maybe it was in the 1950s.
Yeah, but
But it was after Roosevelt.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
because of Roosevelt, because
exactly.
he was in there, 4 terms, and they're going like, well, that's too much. Nobody should have that much power. What? Nobody? Does that include Congress? Does that include the Senate? Nobody?
Nobody that took any
Yeah.
idea of who somebody might be. Yeah.
But, one of the greatest things, blessings that we have is the freedom of religion,
Yes, that's it.
not from.
But of.
There's a difference
Yeah.
between from and of. That's one of the greatest blessings that America has is religious liberty. The First Amendment protects the free exercise of religion, okay? Now, it does say that the state shall pass no law on the church. they try to break that all the time.
Yes, they do. It's an ongoing,
Okay.
it's an
Now,
ongoing
it doesn't
thing.
say that Christians can't vote. We ought to vote. Every Christian should be voting.
Absolutely.
A little tickle in my throat.
Yeah, but going back to the every Christian should vote, it wasn't until I was converted into Christianity that it even mattered to me at all.
About
I just
voting.
didn't. I just took everything for granted.
Right.
And I had a pretty good life, but it was all taken for granted.
Well,
and it wasn't until I became a
was-
Christian.
I was
that-
born again before I had the right to vote, so that helped me.
Yeah.
But I missed an election. I missed an election is because I was out floating in the water with the Navy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And they didn't tell me that I could have absentee voted.
Well.
Or I would have, because, I mean, I was like you. I
Mm-hmm.
knew how important it was.
Right.
Guys, a lot of people could say, you know, we've gone down, and we have, and I won't go through the statistics because we just run out of time, but in the 1900s,
Yeah.
95 to 98% of the people said they were Christian. Today, it's all the way down to 62%, and that's just say they're Christian. It doesn't
Say,
mean they
yeah.
are Christian.
It doesn't
okay?
mean they're
They
churchgoers.
claim to be Christian.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of people would say, well, gosh, what can we do? What can we do? Guys, we can vote. But quit voting just on your pocketbook. Vote
That's a
for
whole-
the person that has the right morals.
Right.
The person, and I don't care what color they are. I really don't care. As long as they're American, I don't care. I definitely think that we ought to have American. And in fact, I personally don't think we ought to have anybody that has dual citizenship to be able to run for our offices.
I agree with that.
They need to be Americans
Yeah.
and only Americans.
Right.
Because that's that's the country they're running. And if they've got split
Loyalties.
loyalties.
Right.
No, I'm not for that. But guys, we can share the gospel. And again, they go like, well, we're so few. Now we're all the way down to 62%. You know what I say? We're gonna run over time here.
Yeah.
I know the story of about shoe salesmen that was sent to this, two of them,
Yeah.
sent to this remote place. They got there, the first one wired back to their company and said, send the money to bring me home. No one here wears shoes.
I got that. I figured that out.
The other one wrote to the company and said, I need more help. No one's wearing shoes.
So, difference
so guys, that's the way it is right
Perspective.
now. Yeah, look at how many more people we can minister to that need the gospel. That's what we need to be looking at. Not we've shrank in number. No, we're down to a point that we've got plenty of people that need to hear the gospel. Mm-hmm. Church, wake up. Get busy. Get out there, start preaching the word. And if you're Christian, I am charging you right now to vote on Christian principles only. I don't care if you don't not just your pocketbook, but I can tell you right now, if they're truly Christian, they're going to be for your pocketbook.
yes, they are. They really
Okay?
are. Yeah.
So, but Christian principles is what we need to be upholding. So the way is not a path we walk. It's not a path we just visit.
No.
It's a life that we walk.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And may we never be known only for just what we believe, but how we faithfully follow Jesus.
I agree.
Amen? And where did we learn that?
By going to church a lot.
By going to church a lot. So guys, until next time, you keep living the way. God bless.
Thank you for watching, and remember, be in church tomorrow. If you don't have a home church, you really need to find one. The church needs you, and you really need the church.